Forget. When I was a little girl, I had a habit to forget. I'd forget things like my socks or where I left my bracelets and watches. Little things, usually. It was only stuff. Forgetfulness runs in my family, you see. We always forget things. My dad is especially fond of this. He chooses to forget all the time. Some nights, he will forget me. Other nights, forget he has a wife. He'll forget he's at home, forget the war's over. Forget. One particular night, he was drunk, forgetting like usual. At this point, I would be in my room, entertaining myself with whatever was in the storage closet, whatever I could find to amuse me. He sometimes threw himself into a fit, throwing things, smashing things, saying things that were downright ugly. Me, I would ignore him. If he got too loud, I would just go into the storage closet. I'd explore until he stopped. It was always interesting to explore the storage room. There were things all over that room. Things that my parents meant to sell, but never had the mind to clean up. It made a good hiding spot if my dad ever got fierce, and it never failed to make my imagination go wild about what I would find. That night, my dad was loud. Very loud. I tried to ignore him for the longest time, but he just kept throwing things and saying things that were ugly. And so into the room I went. There was only one little light inside, swinging back and forth as I crawled around our mediocre treasure trove. Books of all kinds were dusty on shelves, and an old TV sat in the corner, its glass broken. Porcelain dolls were stacked in a pile, abused and forgotten. Sometimes I would play with them. They needed the company. But tonight I chose to scour one of the bookshelves for something colorful and bright, something to amuse me and make me forget. Forget. My dad was shouting at this point now. Every time he did, I heard a crash, a smash, and after a bit, I heard a scream. My mom must have gotten in his way. Silly Mom, you never get in Dad's way. You hide. That's what you do. I kept reading my book until I got bored. The story was too happy to be real, and so I threw it aside. As I looked around for something else to do, I noticed a small pair of glasses next to the porcelain dolls. I guessed it was from one of them, but I curiously put them on. They were foggy, cracked little things, just barely able to fit me comfortably. I heard another crash outside, but ignored it as I searched for a mirror. I saw a spoon, and decided that would do. Turning this way and that, I decided that I looked like a teacher. A grumpy little teacher. My mom screamed again, and there was another crash. But this time it sounded different. This time it ended in silence. My dad stopped screaming. I assumed it was done. I put the spoon down and merrily made my way out of the closet, across the carpet, into my bed. Once snug in my covers, I faintly heard a different sound. Crying. My dad was crying. That was odd. But I chose to forget, and I fell asleep. You can't forget me. I opened my eyes and saw my mom knelt down beside me. The side of her head was gashed open, blood spilling down as bits of glass fell out with the stream. You can't forget about me, sweetie. You can't. I screamed and scrambled out of the bed, running out of my room. I padded down the hall and tripped over the little step that led to our living room. It stank in here, and I can hear my dad crying very clearly now. I looked up, seeing my mom on the floor. The gash was in her head, but I knew he killed her. I knew she was gone. There was a flash of lightning outside my window that made me remember. I remembered that I wasn't a little girl, that I couldn't hide this anymore. Not in any attic, not in any bottle I consumed. Frustrated, I threw it across the room. Forget. Forget. I couldn't forget.